Hi, today is March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, 2020, and I'm doing a reading with regard to death. It's so misunderstood, and basically, it's an interview with death. I'm trying to give death a platform through the use of the cards to communicate to us, and hopefully, I will be a good interpreter because that is what I am. With whatever it wants to, its message that it wants to convey to us is. A lot of people confuse suffering with death. Death is actually would be a release from suffering because it releases you from the earthly realm so that you are entirely free from it. And if you choose to hang around it, that's one thing, but you are then released from form to enter other realms. So it has a job. And its job, I'm going to tie up this mess of hair today. Sorry, folks. Its job is very important, but I think it gets a bad rap. Well, in some cultures, at least, especially in Western culture, really very, very immature, in my opinion, kind of a understanding or social understanding of death. We've mixed it up with suffering that happens in the physical realm. And it's not that you can't suffer in the other realms, because, oh yeah, you can. All right, anyway. Let's see if death would like to offer us a message. So I'm gonna try and get comfortable here and do this relatively quickly because my husband is out in the other room, doesn't really have a place to relax. So this one's just a little more intensive in energy. Okay. So I'm asking the spirit of death and the tarot, the spirit, and the ancestors to help me interpret the symbols that death uses to respond. The message, help me to convey the message accurately. Many times a reader can get tired or they misunderstand a symbol. It's very easy to do. I've done it. So I never claim that I am 100% accurate because nobody is. And some days less so than others, Some days if you're just tired, you're trying to filter your own bias, imagination, the information of symbology from the cards and intuition all at once and translate it to a message that human beings can have concept of, can understand. It's tricky to do. We don't always get it right. Okay, Death, what would you like to say to us? What would you like to say to us through the use of my cards today? What would you like to say to us, human beings? The High Priestess and the Three of Swords. I read in pairs when I don't have a distinct spread that I'm using. So it's kind of freestyle. And when we look at these two together, this is suffering. This is anguish. This is heartache. This is illness. This is not the definitely the card that of not feeling of suffering in body and spirit, and sometimes illness, like I said. And this card is a card of it works between the veils. It works between realms. It's saying that it's a mysterious force that's misunderstood for suffering as a bringer of suffering, but it is not. It is simply a worker that worker type of spirit that works between the realms of the other side and the earthly and all that in between. It's has a it's not understood. It's not understood, and it is not understood and very secretive, except for people that are empaths and mediums. We tend to understand it better. This is also the card of the empath, the card of the reader, the seer, who can relate the secrets. Because otherwise it looks like this to you, but to people like myself and other people that are watching this that are sensitive, that are just perceptive enough, that we're aware enough, that we feel it, so we can't ignore it. It's like this. Boom. You feel it. But people have associated suffering with the mysterious force of death. And death is not suffering. They need to make that distinction. They need to make that distinction. And perhaps more mediums need to make that distinction. Although I think we try. That the suffering, mental and physical, is not what death brings you. Death brings you release from that. Okay? Again, there's a lot of worry. There's a lot of worry. And hang-ups regarding death. Also, this is death too, in a way. It's a sacrifice. Worried that people worry that they will die before their time. There's so much worry associated that people don't stop for a moment. And what you need to realize also about the Hanged Man, he has a halo of awareness. He is upside down, but he can see. He is stopped in his tracks and he cannot go further, but he begins to realize other things. He begins to have a different perspective. And I believe this is death asking for us to have a different perspective about it, an enlightened perspective. And especially now that we are, as a world, dealing with death, dealing with being kind of confined, and our comings and goings being limited, we are all in the position of a moment of the Hanged Man. This is a great moment, death is saying, for enlightenment with regard to all these thoughts that and worries that plague us. because now we're worried we're going to catch this virus now. And it's not I'm not making light of that, by the way. We should be. But I don't want us to be so worried that we're not functional. You have to have a cooler head, okay? And if you don't have a cooler head for a few moments, let yourself freak out for that, and then go on YouTube and and perhaps gain some perspective. That's understandable. You're only human, right? But it's saying people worry a lot, and they need to realize and have a different perspective. This is a very good time. People need more of this enforced time in life to stop and get perspective, to see things from a different perspective, so that they can understand what's really important. Don't sweat the little shit. That's what death is also saying. I have to get a sip of coffee. Oh, thank you. I moved the mic so that you're not hearing it clang. Well, I think we're tracking with this reading. Really? That makes sense. Thanks, Death. Continue. We are listening. King of Swords. Now, court cards are usually human beings. Okay. The Emperor. This is a leader. Typically, honestly, this leader is usually an air sign. And for me, at the present time, this is Trump and Putin. Because both, do you ever notice a lot of Geminis got a lot of things going on right now? Well, they're not both Geminis, but they're both air signs. Excuse me. And they're both, I think, facing some end of a cycle. I'm just going to be honest. Now, I feel like I'm being shown a ruler that could be either Vladimir Putin or this could be Donald Trump, because both are air signs. Putin, who I also get as the King of Cups, has a water moon in Scorpio, but he is a Libra, and Donald Trump is a Gemini. So I feel like death is showing me a leader. Could be one of those two. I don't know yet, but maybe other cards that come now will make sense. Ace of Wands. Okay, that's a new beginning. It's also a release of energy. To me, sometimes it can be violence. It can be communication, like electronic communication, actual fire. And the Hermit. I've also, with this pandemic, been getting it as an indicator of getting a fever. Now, with that Hermit card, I want to take my time with this. I don't need to rush to conclusions. Okay, death is showing me this leader. Okay, I feel like I just got a psychic hit. Both of these men fear death. They're quick to met it out to other people. But when it comes to them and theirs, like their fam, it's not so, no sweat. They don't, they really don't care about other people other than themselves and their family. I didn't have to tell you that. But I believe with this confinement, with this going into a quieter mode of that hermit, this new energy of a quieter, more introspective energy, people are in a position to think. They're also in a position to possibly think themselves silly and lose perspective. Death is saying, don't lose perspective. And then it gives an example, I think, of either one of these two, which I think, okay, to be honest, folks, I think Vladimir Putin is paranoid as hell to die. He's afraid of death. Absolutely. And Trump is too. Most people are, let's just be honest, right? But these two, like, more so, like, paranoid to that point. And them having to go into more of a secluded mode. Sorry, I got a little lipstick there that's just bothering me right around here. I put it on before, and I didn't do my typical. Okay, anyway. And don't worry, I'm not sick. All right, so anyway, this fire, if you notice also that the hermit carries a lantern of light, and he holds it up to light his path and the path also that others may see. Wisdom. Something here looking to find their way. Okay. Oh, I just get that if Trump has to be more on his own, for him, it will make him, guess what? Angry. Yeah, I get anger there. So he doesn't want to do that self-quarantine thing. Well, I'm highly suspicious of self-quarantine because it's down to the individual, the discretion of the individual. And if you're not somebody that follows the rules and you're carrying that virus, you're spreading it if you don't stick to things. But I feel, and I know that this is a bit disjointed, and this is how I have to kind of go through and refine the reading. Death is speaking about that, about this person, and about people that overfear it. It brings up this, I didn't expect it. I was expecting more of a general conversation, but it brings up a leader to me. And this person having to be alone makes them angry. I don't think that that's Putin. I think it's Trump. I also wonder if... Okay, let me just pull a few more cards. Temperance. Yeah. I feel like this person has... I'm going to be honest with you. There, I got two cards now that indicate fever. Okay? And I feel like they are trying to control the narrative, obviously, and get this fever under control with the Magician. Okay, so I'm going to show you. Okay, remember that we got the Hermit and the Ace of Wands. Okay, now we get the Magician and Temperance. Temperance is also a fever card. Why, might you say? Well, because it's about getting things balanced, and that it's saying something needs balanced. This is the act of trying to do something, the act of also communication and doing. And I believe that with these, let's see if I can help you to see the pattern more. Okay. I don't know if that's so great, but yeah. Okay. All right. Now, and when you look at it this way, something needs balancing. Somebody goes into hiding or quiet off the radar to try to, it looks like to me, deal with a fever that may have onset. Okay, they're definitely trying to bring balance to something, but I think there's a bit of quietness with regard to this. This could be Vladimir, this could be, or Trump. This leader is an air sign. Vladimir Putin lies just as much as Trump lies. This person is trying to control, manipulate the narrative. They're not being honest. And I feel like, for some reason, Death wants to show me this. Okay. I am shown the Eight of Cups, abandonment. The Hierophant. Abandonment, I think of an office. Leaving an office. Or this could be others in government, professionals that request resignation. The Star and the Knight of Pentacles. There is hope after enduring a period of time that's just dragged on. The Moon, the Ace of Cups. Okay. I sense this, there's something about, I feel like a cure, treatment, remedy, antidote, inoculation, whatever treatment right here. But there's something shady around it with that moon. That could just be uncertainty, and uncertainty maybe around the timing of when that would be available. And so now my intuition says this King of Swords that Death is showing me is now all about that remedy. And because they fear, or there's uncertainty about when it would be available or ready. And I think they're fearing that if they get a temperature, they're going to fear when there would be an antidote. Okay. That makes sense to me. Just reading my cards, folks. Death gives me the Nine of Wands and Judgment. This is where the past choices come catch up with you and requires a new awareness. Sometimes the only way people understand is the hard way. This is being a clarion call of accountability. This also, I'm getting that same message that Death is saying leadership that didn't handle the information that they were so blessed to have, that people in the past never had, are going to be held accountable. And Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin, whether it's either one of them, are included in that, in how they look after or don't their people, what they did with regard. Death saying the illness and the suffering of these people is on you. Wow. Wow. Blood is on your hands. Wow. That's what Death is saying to regard as maybe to both of them. That they will be held responsible. This illness will unravel both of them. It is a catalyst, a real catalyst, a real kicker to their future, whatever the future holds for them. And I keep getting that. China, all these places. Because honestly, I feel like the corruption is so rife. And I think people mistake that the universe is just, well, it is, but it's also like, okay, now you had the information and you deliberately didn't give it as you should for the benefit of the people that you lead. You have heightened karmic accountability. Everybody in leadership has part of that power that comes with it. May I remind you, is accountability, greater responsibility. And so ignoring the information like Trump did, not implementing, getting people tested, not trying to cut funding for this care to have been in place, the fact that you disregarded that will stack against you. The universe is calling these, fuckers to account. As I've said before, now this is me just with my analytical mind. I know Vladimir Putin has I think, a delicate respiratory system. It's a little on the delicate side. That's what I think. And I can't think that Trump's would be great. So they may not be ill right now, but this thing I do see with the cards is going to drag a little bit on than what they'd like, and that will piss them off. And this is where I think the trouble comes, because I think, okay, we've given it enough time, god damn it, pardon my language, but gonna have cursing on my channel a little bit sometimes. I'm personifying them in this instance, and I think that they will, not so much Vladimir necessarily at all, because I think he's far more shrewd, but Trump, I could see him putting his guard down and wanting, right now, I don't care that he says he's tested negative. I don't care about that. He's been around people that have had it, and he may not be sick, but he's definitely carrying it. He's definitely a carrier. I'm sorry. I think that I just feel it. And maybe that's, if he isn't now, I think it's in his future. And I take no ghoulish delight in that. Okay, I don't. But I tend to think there could be a strong possibility. Okay? This is an entertainment channel, so, and sometimes I'm not always right, but I'm sorry. I know that some folks are saying different whatever. It's okay. I'm saying wait and see. May not be right now at this time, but something, the stress at the very least of fear of getting this could wear them down and open them up to it. And it's not like I'm trying to make them have this. I really, Death has just shown me this guy. I was trying to interview Death. Death is showing me an example here. Okay. So it is with leadership what your intention has been. Chariot and the Tower, racing toward a catastrophe, an unforeseen, quote unquote, catastrophe. There's something that happens very suddenly, very quick. Okay? And now, if I looked at this, I'd almost say, is that a vehicle in an accident? What is this? What is this? Often I would get this for a car accident, but I feel like this has, the energy here is more to do with like, boom, it's sudden. It's boom, it happens fast. And it could be a quick onset of illness, or something along those lines, folks. It also could be responding, sending help. I also feel like this is Death also saying it will be active in collecting. Because there's something about this virus that it has a sudden onset for some people. I just keep getting that. That when it clicks in, it clicks in. And you're suddenly very sick. Well, at least I think for some people, it must be happening enough, because I keep getting that in the cards. Perhaps within regard to this individual here. This King of Swords. I think, because I still think this is connected to him. I'll wrap this one up pretty quickly here. All right. I feel like someone may be quick to say, oh, we're handling here. I feel like this person may be oh my goodness, I can't talk. Might be pretty quick to say, hey, we got a handle on this. Look how well I'm doing. I've managed this. It's all my geniusness. Right? It's a little over the top. But I think it could also be is this progress? This is the Tower is usually more of a disaster, not a, and it comes after that Chariot. That's what bothers me about that. It's like the Chariot came first and then that Tower. So it's like racing toward a sudden event that it has a disastrous, unpleasant reset, hard reset with it. And I feel like this person is too interested in their self image and trying to say everything's fine, when I think that we have the Six of Cups and the Four of Pentacles. They're wanting to hold on to, there's some memories, holding on. They want to hold on to something, their past. Yeah. My God. Certainly that could be Putin too, because how many years has, he been in basically the leader there? They want to maintain, and Trump certainly does too, they want to maintain their hold. So I'm giving you both of those because I'm not quite sure. We'll have to see in the future and see how it plays out. I think this actually could be addressing both of them. Death is addressing both of them. And again, we get another rush energy, Knight of Swords. Okay. This could be information that comes quickly, that about confinement. Something confining. This has been definitely a quarantine card. It could be that this person, maybe Vlad or Trump, it's a mindset. Oh no, okay. It's a mindset that they're stuck to. That's what Death is saying. They want to keep that. They don't want to expand their understanding. But this is going to force them. That's why we had the past and the holding on to, and the wanting to maintain this past glory. They want to keep that. They want to hold things down, confining maybe news. They want to control the news. That's certainly Putin, and that's certainly Trump. But I don't think they're going to be able to do that. Um, Ace of Swords and the Knight of Cups. Yeah, some kind, I feel like for Trump, he's going to receive some kind of request. I think to resign or step away. I don't know about Putin. Nobody probably tells him what to do. There's certainly an approach. This is usually an approach, an offer. Sometimes this offer can be a double agenda. But with this Ace of Swords, I think it's an offer that says, this needs to end. Stop. Be clear. You can't confine the truth. And so there is an approach. There is, and I feel like this announcement or this offer is made public. Ten of Wands. Yeah. Queen of Swords. Let's just pull another. Empress. King of Pentacles. Man of Wealth. And a woman who is very stressed, or knows that he's stressed. This person has a legal thing going with regarding him. Backup. Tremendous pressure. I think she may be even, okay. Part of the offer, there's a female that says, look, we know you're really stressed. This is too much now. You need to step down. Okay? I'm being shown that. Death has just said, yeah, but I'm going to give you this instead. See, sometimes you read, you got to read what's before you. Death is showing me this. There's going to be a change. That corruption is wanting to keep at its work. It's also that if you're sick, you're not fit to be working and making decisions and coming in contact with other people, doing something over and over again. See, also money, economy. Oh gosh, okay, economy. Because if somebody's ill in an office and they're not able to make good decisions, now they're running the economy into the friggin', they're playing with the economy. The Fool, I always get the Fool for him. And the Nine of Cups. One is that you're foolish to continue this just for your own pleasure, your own benefit, because you're running the whole economy into the ground, people's jobs, with your mishandling. I think Pelosi will pitch something here along the lines of, and truly mean it. You need to be in getting healing. You need to be. And it's going to take a long time to fix what you've messed up. That's what she's saying. Because of trade and that you've messed around with partners. Pelosi's going to have a lot to say. She's going to be telling them, you need to step down. You're screwing up the economy. If you're ill, you need to be in a certain, care, this kind of thing. So that's very Interesting. I'm sorry, folks. I think that something will go down here with regard, if not just the stress getting to him, but I see, because, like, yeah, the wands could be stressed too. It is a fiery energy. It could also be a temperature. And the stress can lead you to get ill. So maybe that's it. We'll see, right? But death, that message, that was interesting. It began with, yes, I misunderstood, but I got to tell you all something. So I'm going to wrap this up right here because it's already into 45 minutes. And I will get to my next video, which I believe is going to be more on cold cases. All right? I keep saying that, but... And notice when I try not to read on political stuff, even Death says, no, this is important. Here it is. All right, thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.